Hello, everybody. It is good to be here. Bring it down for me for a second. I just want everybody to know means so much to be here in Union City. I want to thank, first and foremost, the mayor of this great city, Mayor Stack, who is doing an incredible job. I want to thank your principal, who I met, and I've fallen in love with him because he's got a great haircut, Mayor. You should think about that. But I just want to say, on a very personal note, I have had a lot of honors in my political career. But the fact that Bob Menendez asked me to introduce him, not just on any occasion, but as he launched his re-election campaign, and launched it in a place that was very important, and I hope all the young people here especially understand this. Bob Menendez grew up in this community. He was raised in this community. This community is his heart, this community is his soul, this community is his home. And when we sing the songs of patriotism, and we say those words, home of the brave, it is when I think of this community and Bob Menendez coming up from these roots that I understand that this is indeed home of one of the bravest people I've ever met. But the truth of the matter, as you go out in the world and weather the storms of life, what gives you strength when the storms come is the roots from which you have come from. James Baldwin has this powerful quote where he says, "Children are never good at listening to their elders, but they never fail to imitate them." I told Bob as I was standing over on the side that I took some time to read what I could about his parents, and I confess to you right now, I regret deeply that I never got a chance to meet them. And if I could have met Bob Menendez's parents, there's something that I would have loved to be able to do, was just to shake their hands, not because of some kind of formality or cordiality, but I would have loved to shake their hands because I would have loved to feel their hands. One parent was a seamstress, one parent was a carpenter. These were folks that worked with their hands. I imagine their hands would have not been soft and smooth, but they would have been rough and calloused. They would have wounds on their hands. In fact, I've learned in my life that you judge the greatness of an individual not by how they look or how flawless they are, but you judge an individual by the scars that they have. In fact, their scars will reveal a map of the pain and the hardship and what they have overcome. Their scars are testimonies to their triumphs and to their hardships. I never got to know Bob's parents physically by meeting them, but I feel today, standing in his hometown, in his community, just blocks from the tenement in which he grew up in the most humble of circumstances, I believe that I know his parents. I believe that his parents taught him through their actions and through their work what I see now in the man that I serve with in Washington. I know his parents because I see his values and I see his core and I know what his roots are about, what this community, what the public schools here, what these roots that taught him. I see that he's evidenced the truth of what his parents must have taught him, that your wounds are your wisdom. I see the truth of what his parents must have taught him, that you should not pray for lighter burdens, but in life you should pray for stronger shoulders, stronger hands, so you could bear more burdens and serve more and carry more and give more. I can see the truth in how he lives and works in the Senate, that his parents must have taught him that it's not about complaining, it's about doing. In fact, you should not complain or criticize if you don't work and sweat and put forth your grit. I know his parents taught him that you cannot beat a person, no matter what circumstance or what trial, that you cannot beat a man if he never, ever, ever gives up. We are blessed to have a senator in this state who came up from this community, whose roots and values have given him strength and a solid foundation on which to grow up and grow forth and bear great fruit. But I want to tell you right now that this is a critical event in the course of this nation and this state's history for this reason. We in New Jersey are in the midst of another storm. It's not a physical storm like Sandy, but it is a storm that we are seeing coming at us. We saw the storm in this most recent tax bill, which took an economic sledgehammer to the base of our state. We see the storm in savage cuts facing our public education, our public schools, and our public universities. We've seen this storm come at our healthcare system, threatening our hospitals, threatening to take millions of people off of healthcare. We've seen this storm coming to our state by restricting the funds that we give to Washington, coming back to fix our tunnels and our bridges, to fix our infrastructure. We see the storms coming right now from Washington. And the reason why I feel such a sense of urgency to be here is because the Bob Menendez that I know, the man that is up from this community, the man whose parents taught him the most powerful values, this is the man that we need in this fight. This is the man that will help us to stand against the storm. This is the man that is ready to continue to defend the state of New Jersey. I know the character of this man because I have seen it not just in the trenches in Washington, but I've seen it here in the state of New Jersey. It was Yeats that said, "For he would be thinking of love till the stars ran away and the shadows have eaten the moon." I have seen Bob Menendez's focus on the people of this community in the darkest times. I will never forget, in the first days that I was a United States Senator, standing in the shoreline of New Jersey, where people months after the storm had hit, who were still standing in front of destroyed homes. I saw a man not too afraid to show his weakness. I saw how the man was trembling with fear, with rage, because he was so angry about the inefficiencies of the federal government. I saw him, when he returned to Washington, call in those responsible to hearing and meeting after meeting. And I knew then what Bob Menendez was about. That whether you live in the shoreline or the north or the south of our state, that he had a love of people that is at the center of our ideals of patriotism, because you cannot love our country unless you love all of its people. And so, it is this force that is the most powerful of forces. You cannot lead the people if you don't love the people. And so I want to tell you now, we here in New Jersey, we have a very easy choice to make. Do we want to give in to the storm and send people to Washington who are complicit with those who seek to attack us? Do we want to stand and send people to Washington who will be complicit in our tax nightmare, who will try to take away our health insurance, who will hurt our public schools? Or will we send back our champion who will fight for New Jersey, who will fight for our children, who will fight for public education, who will fight for insurance? Let me tell you about Bob Menendez. And let me tell you about the state of New Jersey. I told him earlier that there's an old saying, if you kick a lion when he's down, you better be careful when he stands up. Well, I'm happy that Bob Menendez is standing up for New Jersey. There's an old saying that said the truth crushed to the earth will rise again. Well, I'm happy to say we have a champion fighting for the truth of New Jersey every single day. There's an old saying by a poet who said, "It matters not how straight the gate, how charged the punishments of scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." Ladies and gentlemen, we have a choice today. We can begin the fight to make sure that we control our fate. We can begin the fight that stands for the truth of our country. We can keep the fight going that reflects the strength of New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our time to stand with Bob Menendez, our champion. It is our time to stand for our values. It is our time to stand on until the glory and the greatness of this city, of this state, and our nation comes to fore. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to tell you today that we in New Jersey stand with Bob Menendez. We in Union City stand with Bob Menendez, the next senator and the current senator and the senator that I love. I bring you now, Bob Menendez.
Cory, we do make a pretty good team. You have been a remarkable friend and colleague, and I look forward to being at your campaign kickoff for whatever office that's going to be. Thank you so much. Let me thank the members of the Junior ROTC for presenting our colors. Allison, you did us all proud in leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Sabrina, Milagros, and Maria, your rendition of the national anthem was just beautiful. Let me thank Principal Lewis and all of his fellow educators for making this school such a remarkable center of learning. And Senator Ruiz, I admire your NC skills, but more than that, you're an incredible state senator and a voice for our schools, our students, and our teachers. Thank you, Senator Ruiz. Mayor Stack, thank you for your kind words and your tireless leadership of my hometown. A great mayor, isn't he? And Governor Murphy, I am always happy to be alongside with you, making our state stronger and safer and fairer. And to my son, Rob, well, what can I say? You make me proud, and I love you dearly. And hello, soaring eagles! It's great to be back in Union City, my old neighborhood, nearby my old high school. This is your home, and it's my home. And this is nowhere else I'd rather be than once again to be here in Union City and saying, I'm Bob Menendez, and I'm running for the United States Senate. I'm here today because long before I was my granddaughter Evangelina's abuelo, or Rob and Alicia's father, long before I was a mayor or a congressman or a senator, I was a poor kid from Union City, the son of immigrants who came to America with nothing but dreams. That's why I always say that if you want to know who I am, then you need to know where I came from. And when I say I'm from Union City, I say it with pride. This is the city where my family raised me, the schools where my teachers shaped me, the community that inspired me to fight for what I believe in, hard work and equal rights and opportunity for all. So today I stand here as your United States Senator, knowing full well how unlikely that sounds for someone who was raised in a tiny apartment just a few blocks from here. Someone whose mother was a seamstress and father a carpenter. Someone who couldn't afford the books required for the honors classes. Someone who had big dreams and now proudly stands with all of those who are dreamers. Someone who was the first in my family to go to college, just as many of you will be. Someone who had to work hard for everything, like most of the families here, but who had that opportunity because America is the land of opportunity. So you see, my story is your story. Verás que mi historia es tu historia. And whether you dream... Sí, sabemos hablar español también, ¿no? And whether you dream of being a senator or a teacher, an actor, an inventor, your dreams are my dreams. Your ability to achieve those dreams, no matter where your family came from or how much money they make, that's what makes America great. That is the promise of America. That is the American dream. The idea that anything is possible because everyone is welcome. The promise that if you work hard, you can get ahead and give your kids a better life. Now, not too far from here is a statue in a harbor, a statue that welcomed people from all over the world for more than a century. People searching for opportunity who ended up creating opportunity for millions of others. People who didn't arrive as Americans, but whose hard work and deep faith make America the greatest nation on the earth. But today, a cloud of darkness hangs over that statue. There is a president in Washington who spends his days dividing us and distracting us, but never delivering for us, who believes that being wealthy is the same thing as being worthy. Under his watch, healthcare is getting more expensive, environmental protections are being gutted, women's rights are under attack. He thinks that climate change is a joke and that we should let big oil drill off of the Jersey Shore. He wants the wealthy to pay less and working families to pay more. His idea for affordable healthcare is, don't get sick. Time and time again, he puts big corporations ahead of everyday people. We saw it after students and teachers and coaches, exactly like so many of you here, were gunned down in Parkland. Instead of taking action, he caved into the gun lobby, just like countless politicians before him. But for me, something feels different this time. That's because students like you have stood with the students of Stoneman Douglas High School and pledged to turn once again into never again, never again. You're tired of hearing that mass shootings and daily gun violence are just a fact of life. You're tired of hearing that your lives don't matter. And as your senator, I know you deserve better. That's why I voted for the first assault weapons ban and have sponsored legislation to bring it back. That's why I support universal background checks and common sense laws to keep illegal guns off of our streets. And that's why I introduced the Keep America Safe Act to ban the high-capacity magazines that are only used for high-capacity killing again and again, from Parkland to Newtown to Las Vegas to Orlando. We need these common sense reforms, and we must stop the NRA from rolling back New Jersey's tough and effective gun laws. Because while some states give concealed carry permits to just about anyone, people on the terrorist watch list, domestic abusers, you name it, we have higher standards in New Jersey. And we don't want out-of-state guns in our schools or our shopping malls or our train stations or anywhere else in this state. Yet instead of taking action, the president spouts NRA talking points. He says it's time to arm our teachers and harden our schools. Well, I haven't met many teachers who want weapons in their classrooms. And let's get real. Arming teachers won't stop the next Las Vegas or Orlando. Only we can do that with common sense gun laws. You know, throughout my life, I've worked hard for good grades, as I hope you're doing here. But I am proud to have a big fat F from the NRA. I am proud to be standing here with you in this gym, more hopeful than ever that change is within our reach. And that's because of students like you. Across New Jersey and our country, young people are speaking out and marching for their lives. But don't let anyone fool you. You have power. You have power because you're unafraid, you're fierce, and you are the future. And I have faith in each and every one of you. I believe our future is brighter because of you. And I believe your success must be America's #1 priority. But not everyone sees it that way. Some believe that if the richest among us get richer, somehow the benefits will trickle down to the rest of us. That hasn't worked in the past, and it doesn't work now. I promised your teachers you would learn something today, so let me share some numbers from Fortune magazine. In 2016, the CEOs of the 350 largest companies were paid an average of $15.6 million. That's 271 times more than the typical worker makes. It's no wonder that Americans feel like they're working harder than ever for less than ever. 50 years ago, CEOs made just 20 times more than the average worker. So look, we all want to see success rewarded. That too is part of the American dream. But when anyone in government thinks that we should cut taxes for CEOs who make 100 or 200 or even 300 times more than the average worker, we have lost our way. And when we lose our way, too many people get left behind. Wealthy CEOs already get to call all the shots in our economy. We can't let them call all the shots in our government, too. A corporate tax cut will never build a bridge, it will never teach a child, it will never care for a senior or keep our streets safe. That's why we don't need a government guided by CEO values. We need a government guided by teacher values, by first responder values, by hardworking immigrant values and student values. These are my values in the United States Senate. This is why I fight to create jobs that pay living wages and invest in job-creating infrastructure projects like Gateway and stand up for equal pay for equal work for women. That's why I passed the Autism Cares Act and secured funding for cutting-edge medical research on cancer and Alzheimer's and other health challenges. And that's why I will never, ever stop fighting to make universal health care a reality for every man, woman, and child across America. It wasn't long ago that health insurance companies could deny care to children with pre-existing conditions and charge women higher premiums for the very same coverage and kick consumers off their plans the moment they got sick. That's why when families were being bankrupt by medical bills, I was fighting to pass the Affordable Care Act and expand Medicaid to over 500,000 New Jerseyans. That's why when drug companies were hiking costs on cancer patients, I was working to make medicine affordable for families and seniors. And that's why when some were trying to repeal health care reform and strip coverage away for more than 700,000 New Jerseyans, I stood with you and I fought with you. And together we prevailed in the fight to protect our health care. That's the reason we call ourselves Jersey Strong, because when the going gets tough, we get together. We all remember the destruction left behind by Superstorm Sandy. Destroyed homes, millions without power, dozens of lives lost forever. Now, some politicians showed up for the photo ops and then they skipped town. Not me. When the cameras left, I stuck by New Jersey families. When Congress denied us disaster relief, I went to war for New Jersey families and won. And when they were cheated by government agencies, I fought back and delivered for New Jersey families. Now, some call me stubborn. I say I'm persistent. Maybe that's the Jersey in me. I know that candidates tell you this election is the most important ever. But this year, whether you care about the safety of our schools or the health of our families or the security of our nation, our votes have never mattered more. We cannot let the dark cloud cast by the president define us as a country. In these uncertain times, we must see the light in each other and together be the ray of hope that clears the way towards a brighter future. The future is your future, and it is on the ballot in 2018. And while some of you are not old enough to vote, I am not here to ask for your vote. I am here because I am your vote in the United States Senate. Every time I cast a vote, I do it for you. I carry a piece of this place in my heart. Our cities, our communities, our families are with me on the floor of the United States Senate each and every day. You are with me, and I am with you. And when I vote to make health care more affordable and our gun laws more sensible and our economy more equitable, because I've never forgotten where I came from or who I'm fighting for. I'm proud to call New Jersey home. We share that Jersey attitude. When the cause is just, we don't give in. When the odds are long, we don't give up. And when the foe is bigger and stronger, we don't back down. You know who I am. You know where I came from. And you know who I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for you, your hopes, your dreams, your future, because we're in this together. Thank you. God bless New Jersey. God bless Union City. And God bless the United States of America.